I think it really I think it does disadvantage the least skilled, and that's not just minorities. That's also, excuse me, older people, people with disabilities, and in particular teenagers. And one of the reasons I think that supports that is the reason, or is the fact that so many places that have minimum wages carve out exceptions for certain groups. It's almost to me like an admittal that that is different, and you need to be able to pay teenagers a little less. Therefore, we're going to carve this out too, as well as I find it hard to believe that the unions aren't sometimes using it in bad ways too. They push for these type like closed shop laws, minimum wage laws, and so on and so forth. They get them passed through the government, and then they try to also get carve-outs for themselves, so that they can also have a lower wage group of union workers that they can now start using in some of what used to be just minimum wage jobs where there was no unions because it was all teenagers. Have you noticed that there are exceptions that basically cover the people that I say there's a problem with it about?
That varies greatly from state to state.
Yes.
Can you be more specific?
All of them. All of those carve-outs say to me that they recognize that it affects teenagers and people with low skill groups poorly when you do the minimum wage. So they have to make carve-outs of different types in different countries and different states to accommodate the fact that there is an effect negative to teenagers and low skilled workers.
Once again, it's a theory. I would like to hear how many people are you even talking about? Because when I look about what minimum wage raising would do, it's mostly not teenagers that it goes up on. So I just don't see the evidence for what you're saying. It's a theory. I get it. I don't think it bears out in the numbers, and therefore I don't think your theory's right. A minimum wage helps teenagers, adults, whatever. And we have a lot of unskilled jobs that need to be filled, and we don't have enough teenagers for that. If you look at the age groups that is going to be affected when you raise it to $15 an hour, they're not teenagers. They're not a majority teenagers. It's mostly working moms.
Yes, this is true. And
so I think accepting working moms and saying, hey, working mom, can I make you work for less? Will you agree to it? Probably a working mom could maybe work for less because she's got no power. She's a working mom. She doesn't have time to join a union, stick up for herself. So she votes in a minimum wage. Good for her. I would say stop all those exceptions that let teenagers get paid less.
It's in particular been since like the mid 80s, 90s that the shift in the workforce and a lot of our minimum wage jobs, in particular restaurants, we've been noticing the change to more older people, to the point where it seems like family people, moms, dads. That has happened over the last 4 decades because of minimum wage laws and other type laws that make it more expensive to hire an employee. So they started shifting the workforce from teenagers that you can't depend on to good, already skilled older people, and the job was more attractive to older people who normally would be looking for a different type job. They start filling in the entry-level jobs because now they're worth $15 an hour. Again, removing the teenagers from that first step of learning about a job, getting your work ethic down, arriving on time, dressing right. There's some real basic skills that happen in that entry-level job. And when we create $15 an hour or force insurance or any of these type rules, you make those jobs more valuable for an employer to give to an older, more experienced worker, and you make them more valuable for that experienced worker so that they will move in and take the job. So I think it supports what I'm saying.
I mean, it just seems like you're taking whatever's norm and switching around with the same evidence. It's just, I don't buy it. I think automation took all these jobs. I don't buy that there's all these hard, good-working people that want industrial jobs, but they're like, what? McDonald's is paying so much. Oh, hell no. I don't want to go into IT. I don't want to be a fireman. I don't want to be a policeman. I don't want to work for Ford. I don't want to do all these other jobs. I want to work for McDonald's because the money's so damn good. I don't see it.
Well, it could be, like you said, lots of single moms who need a job part-time or that is flexible enough for them to get back to their kids, and they just don't have the time. And they just don't have the time to become scientists and firemen and policemen and all those great jobs.
That's definitely what the stat says. People making under the $15 minimum wage are. I think it's 57% women.
Right. Yeah. They're taking teenagers' jobs. What? Sure. In automation, again, we're making employees so expensive that it's creating automation to appear. It didn't used to be cost effective to create the robot or the kiosk, but as each employee becomes more expensive and as inflationary prices start hitting and everything starts getting more expensive and there's a demand for higher and higher profits, wages, then you make it a wise financial choice for an employer to stop using humans and just use machines. Again, it's just going to lead to less jobs overall.
Again, you took the horse and threw it way in front of the cart or way behind the cart. No. During slavery, they invented the cotton gin. There's nothing cheaper than slaves, and they still had an invention so good it was cheaper. Automation is 10 times, 20 times, 100 times better than a single human being. There is no minimum wage to stop automation. Automation is that good, that important. For you to flip-flop that is just trying to make yourself, that's just trying to fit into your theory. That's ridiculous. The cotton gin was made during slavery. What cheaper labor was there?
Okay. One invention, all right. That doesn't change anything that I said. That doesn't change what I said.
It does. It's the exact contrary to what you're saying, that we're raising wages and that's what's bringing automation. Absolutely not. Automation is going to happen by itself. Wages getting too high does not affect that. It may affect it a little bit. I'll give you that. Maybe it is, but absolutely not.
It is an effect. It is an effect. I said, and other things that are making employees expensive, like healthcare, higher minimum wage, taxes on employers, taxes on all of these things have made them more cost effective to start moving to more machinery. And machinery isn't always 100 million times better. That's not true. And there's plenty of jobs that you still need humans for anyway. So this is just kind of like, you're just making that up, And animation is 100 times better than a human being, and that's why they do it. That doesn't really have a good flow of reasoning behind it, as opposed to saying, hey, you've made a human being so expensive, now machines make more sense. And what I keep saying is cost, not the characteristics you keep bringing up, that it's 100 times better. And you said something else that I forgot, but yeah, that's not what I'm talking about.
Not that I thought it was a million times better.
Right. Okay. But I don't think they're saying they're 10 times, 4 times. You can't say they're 10 times better than a human. They're cheaper is the point. That's the point I'm making. And it doesn't matter how much.
Fair. Whatever. Okay.